You mentioned something that I think is a good point that I'd love to dive into further, which is when a startup is getting ready to raise and they realize that they've made some mistakes and they kind of need your help with fixing
Yeah.
those mistakes and getting back on track. And so, would you be able to share what some of those mistakes might be or examples of what they are?
Yeah. So, co-founder divorce is really common even before a financing event. And so mistakes could be something like, hey, I promised this guy, I didn't put it on paper yet, but I promised this guy that I would give him 45%. I'm a solo founder, I'm 55%, he's 45%, my second co-founder, he's my CTO. We didn't put it on paper, but it's not working out. And I don't really want to give him that offer anymore. How do I fix that? Because it's in writing. It's either in email or it's in an offer letter or it's something. Even if it's not in a restricted stock purchase agreement, there's some written promise to give him those shares, subject to a vesting schedule, or in some other cases, the founders may forget to add that, right? So there's not even a cliff. It's just a promise of, you know, 45% fully vested, which is like the hugest walk back that you have to do, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really common mistake because people at the early stage, they're wheeling and dealing really quickly. They're not lawyers, they're not CPAs. They don't have, an understanding of what the legal terms are and why they have to have them and all that sort of thing. So they're doing that, they're finding their co-founders and they're doing that relatively informally over email, text
Mhm.
message, WhatsApp message, all discoverable, by the way, in case of a litigation, but it's all in writing.
Yeah.
Um, and they're making some promises that maybe they don't really want to honor because it's not a good fit. So that's really common. We do a lot of, unfortunately, we do a lot of early founder business divorce. It never goes to litigation because the money's just not there for it at that stage. It's usually something that can definitely be settled out with both people equally unhappy, which is the way
Yeah.
how you know it's a really good settlement when both parties are like, oh, I gave and took a little bit more than or less than I wanted. So that's number one. Other cleanups can be like missed 83B elections, which are relatively
Mm.
routine synthetic 83B cleanups if the qualifications apply. Other cleanups can be, oh shucks, I issued more than I authorized when I went to do my online incorporation. So I authorized only 10 million shares, common shares in my universe of shares, but somehow I gave away 15 and I didn't have enough to even give
Mhm.
that away. Can you fix this? Right? Um, those are the kind of most common ones when we see people doing things on their own for a while, that are like, okay, we understand. Like you've been trying to build your company. This maybe may not have been any worth anything to you until literally today, when you had your massive breakthrough and you got your pilot out the door or whatnot, right? So the attention to those things are understandably not going to be as intense as product, right? Or
Mhm.
platform build out. And so when they come to us, it can be, honestly, it can be expensive depending on how messy it is when you open the hood of the car, right? Clean up on aisle seven. And sometimes it can be very quick when we're just like, okay, we're going to attack it in 3 hours, it's going to be done, right? It just
Yeah.
depends on how much the founder and how long the founder has been without counsel. We've done cleanups where it's like 6 to 9 months of solo flying. And then we did a cleanup that it was like 8 years
Oh
of,
my gosh.
yeah, that particular company had a really expensive lawyer, so they never called their lawyer and they tried to do a lot on their own and they made a lot of mistakes. And it was 8 years of cleanup. And that was a very expensive bill. So obviously, legal is one of those things where you do it once, you do it right, or you pay a little bit more later on, understandably, to
Mhm.
take the risk of doing it wrong, right? You can always correct it. Well, some things you can always correct. Equity grants to third parties are always a little bit of a touch and go there, but most times most things can be corrected and a reasonable compromise found, right? And lawyers
Yeah.
can clean that up. It's always just going to always be slightly more expensive than just doing it right the first time.